Hey everybody, welcome to One Last Try. It is Griebs here, and it is Sunday, which means it's time for Sunday Shorts. Whether it's morning or afternoon, evening or night, come join us for our weekly Shorts session, where we try to highlight games that don't have the big spotlight of some of our other games that we feature on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays on our channel, but games that have a little bit of a less of a heavy background, less of a heavy, I guess, message. Although last week we played Brothers, which was pretty heavy, but it's still games that don't have maybe some from some independent developers, things that just like I said might not otherwise get the spotlight. So we are playing something called the Beginner's Guide. We're going to show some love to our independent developers here. And if you want to show us some love, then please feel free to like and subscribe our channel. Hit that notification bell. Helps with our metrics, lets us know who's watching, lets us know that people are continuing to watch, and just helps us out in general because lets us grow the channel and keep these videos coming. So without further ado, we're going to begin the game. I don't know if this is a game for beginners or not, but if it is, that's okay, because beginners need love too. Please make sure audio is on. Audio is on. We're rocking our really old school headset here because my other headset is being borrowed by someone right now. Our controls are WASD. That is
Thank
very
you very
beginner.
much for playing the Beginner's Guide.
You're welcome.
My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level.
There you go.
And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveyWreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
I can't tell if this is an actual real story or this is just part of the game. Oh, jeez. Was not expecting this.
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
I got thrown into the fire this way.
Security call reached. Hostile alien life form inbound.
It kinda looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or
That's
enemies
exactly what I
somewhere,
thought.
but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets.
Just noticed that as also.
But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Enemy force neutralized.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
Where are we going?
Apparently this space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it. Okay, this is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the Whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Let's turn it off.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering the Whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam.
Yeah, you're not getting me to walk in the beam.
For all of our lives. Would you do it? Could you give yourself?
Blah.
Let me pause here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
Cool.
The beam causes you to start floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it. Like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain.
Just trying to solve the labyrinth while I'm looking at it.
Weird and experimental
Left,
designs.
right,
So he stops
left,
work on this and moves on to a stream
left,
of tiny little
right,
games
left,
that go in all sorts of
right,
directions.
Right, left.
Let's go ahead
right,
and take a look at the
left.
first game he made after leaving this one behind.
The past was behind her. Oh, can't even move. I can jump.
Yep, in this game you can
Oh, jeez.
only walk backwards.
Oh, that's trippy.
So it's a short and relatively minimalist experiment combining
future
motion
cannot be
and
seen.
narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Code is trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
Oh, where'd I go? But if the future is always behind her, sorry I didn't read all these, but how will she find the strength to confront it?
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
Oh, this is very clever. Oh, spotlight moves with me. You are now entering. Looks like a horror game.
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
Interesting is right.
Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games. I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do? Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
Oh, geez. I can't read all these.
A room that's warm and nice and filled with little ideas for games. Coda would often tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
A normal game where you have to scream into the mic every 15 seconds to keep playing. Well, if this Coda person is real, this is very odd and interesting. This looks like a portal level.
Well, this is new for Coda. It's an actual puzzle. Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
Oh, great. That's weird. There's noise behind me.
Don't forget that solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again soon. We're gonna see it a lot.
Oh. So I had to flip the lever and then go into the door because the other lever was behind the door. Didn't know that, but figured it out.
So that seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve the puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. Alright, now I'm going to modify the game again so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
But
How about that? There was more to it than we had any way of knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
I don't know. Oh, here's this one again. I have a feeling we're going to see much more past the spotlight. That's why he brought us back here. You are now exiting.
Aha. So, this combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
Fair enough. We're in March now, 2009. A great and lovely descent. Oh, that's a good looking house.
Let's talk about video game development for a second. Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do. So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development. To make all of these games, Coda is using an engine called Source. Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors. That's why so many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well. The tools available to the creator shape what kinds of creative work they're going to end up making.
Yikes,
You might consider paying attention to the architecture in Coda's games, to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
Oh dear. Luckily there's no health in this game. How far down do we go? Almost there. I could just fall, but I feel like I need to at least try. Oops. Oh, now on the... Oh. Didn't see that coming. Compass and glass. I can't get to it. I can't get to that. Whatever that is. That looks like a dead end. And there's that. This is a weird room. Looks like a turnstile at an amusement park. You just locked me in. And there's a weird radio. Oh, locked me. Huh. I had a feeling
This
this was
prison,
gonna happen.
funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go. If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that.
I don't mind at all. Oh.
This is something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere. There wasn't.
Alright, where are we going next there? Coda? This looks familiar.
It's the puzzle again, with the exact same solution as the last time. There's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
So far, it's a very interesting little walkthrough. It's certainly not a game of a challenge game, but it's a game of a learning game, which is usually kind of what we're looking for on these shorts. So, you there? Did you come up from above? Sorry, did you come from up above? What was up there?
That he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to respond.
Yes, there were these floating colored blocks. That's the world above. You've been there. Now this is important. Did you have to get through a puzzle with 2 doors and switches? Yes, I did. No, I don't remember having to go through a puzzle. I prefer not to tell you. Well, let's play along. Yes, I did. Again, perfect. Now please tell us how you solved it. Tell us the solution. Tell us how to get to the other side. I don't remember. I didn't solve it. Trust me, you don't want to go over there. Well, I don't know if any of those actually answers. Hey, they changed. It said listen, listen, speak, listen. I don't know. Trust me, you don't want to go over there? Oh no, but I do. We do. We need to get there. Do you understand? It's the most important thing in the world. We have to escape this prison. There must be an ending. I promise you, there's nothing I want more. Listen. Well, it's been fun, folks. Oh. Hello again. Hello, how'd you get here? Was there a puzzle you had to pass through? Yes. Do you want to know how to solve it? No, we actually find the black space between the doors to be far more interesting. Have you seen it yet? Actually, now that you mention it, I remember feeling strange as I passed through it. Don't think too hard about it. You'll see it again soon. Down the stairs we go.
And so we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level.
Here's your black corridor, maybe. Now we're outside in this prison. Well, again, nice looking.
It's a lamppost. Okay, I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason, Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out. I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're going to see it in the work as well. His games are just going to become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
All right. Moves on, Davey. This game is connected to the internet. As you walk around, you can leave notes. All notes you see are left by other players. Nice room. Not.
So first off, I'm sure you can deduce this,
How do you beat
but
this game?
game is not connected to the internet.
No point to
All
this.
of the notes that you're going to see have been written by Coda. This was actually the first game of his that I ever played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento, where I grew up. I saw him working on this very level, and it was just so different from anything that anyone else was doing. So right away I was like, I have to be friends with this person. In retrospect, I think I was probably a bit too pushy, trying to get his attention. I was over-enthusiastic. But he was very gracious about it and very patient with me. And I cooled off eventually. Oh, feel free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them. Either way, To me, they convey a sense of loneliness. I see this person who's filled with thoughts and feelings and beliefs and has no way to express them except as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played.
I just saw a flying penguin. Let me tell you, it's the most majestic thing I've ever
It's ironic, isn't
seen.
it, that in playing this game and seeing how alone Coda often felt,
I don't feel like
we
living,
get to know him better.
because nothing
and
will ever be as
actually
majestic
kinda
as that. I never want to see it again if
have to be
nothing will
honest
ever
with
be
you.
that beautiful
This
again.
idea is really seductive.
I'm crying now and plan
I
on
could
ripping
just-
my eyes out.
Play someone's game and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing. I could just get to know you through your work. I think this is why I always liked Coda's games so much, is because it felt like they let me have that connection. I felt as though he was inviting me personally into his world. And then I feel less lonely too.
Certainly the messages seem to convey a depression of some sort. Recognize me, please. There's nothing here. Oh, look at that painting. I don't hear any chimes. It's not very crowded here. You can go in here, I think. Don't bother. This is where I failed to write anything here. I'm compelled. Stop, turn back, proceeding further will only result in misery. There's a depression. There's a little inkling of take my hand, let's jump together. Cabbage shapes our nation. What is that painting? It does not matter if you ever get over there. Hey, don't talk about me that way. Very good game. I need someone to talk to. Like I said, this is a note. Don't listen to the other notes. Here comes a big painting. I'm not safe. Who are all of you? It's about how this game is pretentious and you will suck. Maybe I'll feel real someday. Well, I'm here now. Yeah, we're all here now. There must be a reason for it, though. His terrible secret. He kept it well. Uh-oh. I beat the game. More room?
At the end of this level,
Scared
we're
of
going
writing
to see
something?
the puzzle again. And here, I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means. Each of these games represents an idea that was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it. And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one.
Interesting voices. Downward. Keep
In
digging.
each of his games, after exploring a theme that, he might find difficult, Coda can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution, he understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on. And because there's this dark area between the doors, a space between the spaces, before you move on, you get to pause. Just for a moment, a few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here. To step back and connect the pieces together. To grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
Creepy room with a lamppost. Are you there? Please say something. It can be anything. I just need you to say something. Talk to me, please. Why are you having so much difficulty talking? Speak, 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 speak. I won't read them all. May, June 2009. Porn stars die too.
Okay, this one is tough. It's gonna kind of just spin its own wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it.
I guess we should look out the window. Appreciate the well out there. Let's see what that is. I can't quite tell. Interesting little labyrinthy thing.
See, like, this is it. The whole game.
Oh.
And there's nothing that's particularly interesting about it. You just walk to the end of a hallway. Except, for some reason, Coda gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
There's the well again that we just ended up in. What furniture ought to go in the center of the room? How about a TV? How about a refrigerator spelled wrong? How about put a giant hole in the ground? That's not what I asked for. What along on the wall of the room? Huge picture of a horse, a washing machine, or 10 stoves? Huge picture of a horse. Not what I asked for. I think we should light up this room. A skylight? I'm thinking 10 by 12 recessed electric 6-inch soft LED ceiling lights with fluorescent trim. Put live Tesla coils in each corner, yes. That's not what I asked for. A table. You need a table. Who are you? Where are you exactly doing this from? I'm pretty sure none of my choices are making any difference. Yes, tables were invented in 1935. Oh, door open. Whoa.
There's a bit more to this one, but still, it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, Davey, yes it is.
So, okay, he throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
Hello, please walk forward. I can do this. This guide will enable you to escape any prison environment. Follow the instructions carefully. Take care that you remember each step. First, click on this table. Good, go over to the photo frame and click to turn it slightly. Now turn the floor lamp in this room off and back on. Now go to the left side sofa. Move it over a little. Finally touch the shelves. That's it. In a real prison, the escape will now open. Return to the start to be taken back to your prison. That's weird. Return. Oh, yeah, we're back at the prison, that's right.
Now the table is gone and you can't begin the chain of events to escape. Here's a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside. Let me just blink you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea. There's nearly a dozen of them. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this. To see a person basically unraveling through their work. And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working.
Upside down.
But Coda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop. That particular mechanism of defense against yourself. Without it, you just spiral. And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going, and then he hits on something. And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
Okay. Nighttime, house. There's the lamppost that we're supposed to get to. Labyrinth, perhaps. Here goes the house. Oh. Hey. Hello? Who is this? Hey, it's me. I'm you from after you escaped the prison. You're me? So you're trapped in this prison too? Yes, I was in the furniture maze. Yes, I was in the escape tutorial. I was in the reverse prison.
This is what Coda wants.
Choose reverse prison.
To be able to talk to someone, to share what's on his mind.
That's right, I'm right now.
Some good advice from
Oh, I'm so glad I know that. I get out eventually.
But the irony is that even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself.
What's it like to escape?
You know, all of these games so far are Coda talking to himself.
I'm already forgetting what prison was like. Really? How long has it been since you got out? Years. Only a few minutes, but it's somehow already fuzzy. Kind of like it never happened. This is the worst, most desperate thing I've ever been through. How could you possibly forget it? Anything can seem infinite when you're drenched in it. Wait, if you're me, then did you get a call from another version of you when you were trapped? I was thinking the same thing. Yes, I did get a call. That's how I got escaped. What did they tell you? What did you have to do to get out? Well, we have all the rules to get out of a prison. Remember, we first click on the table, and then we nudge the painting, and then all they told me was to be sincere. They just talked to me for a while, sure. So that's what I'm doing now, it seems. What? That freed you? How does that work? Listen, you can't know until you're out, but I promise it works. Okay, I can talk. Let's just talk for a bit. Will you be here? I will be here for as long as you need.
I can see why he considers this a fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay. Wouldn't that be nice?
I get it. A little bit.
So what would it look like if Coda wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself?
Ooh. It's cold and wintry.
To me, this environment is meant to represent Coda's puzzle, with the two doors on either side and a dark transitional space between.
There's one of those guys again. But we're gonna keep on going.
Just so you're aware, nothing will happen up here until you've been inside the house.
Oh. Thanks. Well, my goodness, I'm glad as all heck that you showed up. Thought I might be having to clean this entire house all by myself, and right miserable that would have been. Everyone knows lonesome Excuse me. Everyone knows lonesome hands make lousy homes.
The art is a step up from previous games,
I
including this new and improved chat system, which he started using from this point on. From here on out, he begins putting much more effort into the visual polish of his work, and this particular game took 2 months to create as a result.
Oh, don't you worry. We'll be through this mess in no time. I promise you'll wish there was more. Why don't I finish up here? In the meantime, could you please clear the table? Oh, I wish real clearing the table was that easy. Much nicer. That's the table I want to see. Now you please run into the bedroom and make the bed. This whole game is about following instructions without really knowing what you're doing. about that. Make the bed. While you're in here, why don't you straighten out the rug a bit? It's still askew. How'd you end up doing this job? A friend dragged me along at a time when I was particularly desperate for cash. Turns out I've never felt so good at doing something for money in my whole life. Never did like cleaning my own home. I might have gotten some demons I ain't ready to face yet. Oh, someone's put the couch on. Excuse me, all in a mess. Would you come and straighten out these pillows here? Pop. Oh dear, looks like someone spilled a drink on the couch. By the couch. Maybe mop that up as long as you're there. I feel compelled to share an incredibly cheesy personal insight. Are you okay with that? Do you have to? Yes. I have a feeling I was going to hear it no matter what. No, I don't. It was stupid. Never mind. Thank you. Hey, these dishes need to be washed. Why don't you come do that? Last I checked, the tub needs the cleaning. Are you actually going to do any cleaning there, friend? Scrub the tub. Are there books still scattered on the floor of the bedroom? Oh. Whew. Perfect. How about you come clean these dishes off the table?
After the intense set of prison games, this house cleaning level almost feels like cleansing. It's the moment after a particularly difficult
thought we cleared the
traumatic
table already.
experience where you just need to let it sit.
These
and
chores
digest
ever end.
inside of you, and eventually cohere
Darling, let me
into
tell you
something
something.
meaningful.
Whatever work you do, you have absolutely got to own it. Otherwise it owns you. So why don't we be with the task at hand and leave the future chores to future you? Present you wants to smooth out the rug in the bedroom, believe it or not.
Really like this guy.
Trust me on this one.
Of all of his work, actually, this was the only one that he called me up to ask me to come over and look at it.
Looks like the tub has gotten rather
A
dirty.
few months where he was like
Come on.
grossly happy all the time. Just walked around with a constant smile on his face.
Earlier when I said I had a really cheesy thought, I was going to say that it occurs to me that one's house is a lot like one's soul. You take care of it, it takes care of you. Don't know why I felt so weird about saying that. I get it. That's a weird thing to say in someone you just met. Anyway, so housekeeping. Let's keep doing this. Would you please clean up the books? Let's keep cleaning up our soul here. Oh, the pillows on the couch are a real mess.
I'm glad he made this. I'm glad he found some peace.
Question. Do you enjoy
Of
this?
course, it can't last. The music stops, your companion is gone, it's time to leave. The door at the top of the hill is now open as well. Again, you can't stay in the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive.
Tempting to just stay out here and see what happens, but let's progress. Oh, there it is.
Which is the whole point of the puzzle doors, right? That sooner or later you have to pick up and move. I really thought that was the point of it.
Items you love
This one
at
gets a
members
bit
only prices. This one gets goofy. Why'd you come here today? Was it to improve your life? Was it to get a better job? Was it to make your relationships more meaningful? No. You came here to become perfect. This workshop is going to teach you how to be perfect. I want your friends, the people in your life, to look at you and think, wow, this person is a better human being than I am. Right now, who do you think about that way in your own life? Who do you know that is so well developed as a person that they make you feel disgusted with yourself, compared to whom you feel useless, selfish, ungrateful? I intend to make you into that person. Perfection is within your grasp. And the question is not how we do it, but how we do it effortlessly. This is easy. It's so easy. It's so
About
easy.
halfway through the game,
Being perfect is
perspective
effortless. Oh my word.
and you play as the teacher.
Oh.
And suddenly, you discover that your teacher is just as bigoted and afraid as you are. Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
Being alone must be awful. I don't know why I get yellow options and gray options. Drinking is not hurting my life. Ew, I developed a cyst. Gross. What the heck? Ha ha ha, just kidding. What if I'm not a good teacher? Everyone run! Run!
I felt pretty hard for this one.
Perfection.
I feel like it's one of the most relatable experiences that you can have.
I don't feel this is relatable at all.
Assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully
That
human.
makes sense. When you explain it that way there,
I play this
Davey.
game a lot these days.
Okay.
This one took a lot longer than all the others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this, and it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
Hello. The performance is beginning. Places, please. Where do we go? Where do we go? Where do we go? And this scene you'll be playing as me. We are at a gathering of professionals. First, you start out leaning against this wall. Which wall? Oh. I had to ask. Good, stay right there. The woman across the room in this chair is a professional photographer of animals. It's your dream to photograph animals professionally. It's your one chance to learn something from her, to gain something, to succeed. Go on, say something to her. Am I supposed to lean against this wall, though? Where's the bathroom? It's kind of funny. What are you doing? You're deflecting. You're not saying what's actually on your mind. Stop dancing around and have a conversation with this person. Do it again. I'm super scared right now. Super scared right now. No, that's not what I said at all. You're completely missing the tone of the conversation. I was reserved, but I knew what I wanted. I was confident. For some reason, it was just that one moment, but I was confident. Maybe it's that you need a better feel of the setting. There were a lot of people around us. I'll give you some props to work with. These codes that bounce when you touch them will represent the people nearby. Now talk to her again. Should I bounce on them? You must have worked hard to get where you are. You're messing it all up again. What? I thought we were supposed to talk about that. You'll freak out if the conversation gets that personal that quickly. Do you not realize how important this was for me? I'll never get another opportunity like this again. Everything was riding on this. I want to try something. Try stepping back from the stage. I kind of want to try those bouncing things, but I was trying to stay against the wall like they told me to. This certainly is trippy. Oh good. Now we're in prison again. This guy... I blame Davey, not Coda. Okay, yes, this is working.
The game ends with this eerie premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution, social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game.
No.
You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer.
Okay.
But what can you do? After this,
What can you do?
Coda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
June 2010. Mobius trip. To play this game properly, you must keep your eyes closed. Click to begin the game. I guess well, okay. Let's see what happens if I actually do it. My eyes are closed for the record, and I'm going to be legit about it. Press W. Still holding W. A bit of D. D now, only. Oh.
You should probably open your eyes if you haven't already. It's
I have
pretty
not.
much impossible to solve otherwise.
Oh.
And there is a solution.
Help, I'm blind. SS Whisperer. You can't see anything either. I'm blind. Please, someone talk to me. Oh, I have no idea where we are. Someone help me, someone do something. Oh. What's going on? Help, I'm blind. Oh, we're gonna crash into that. Don't let this be forever. I think we're gonna crash into it. What's going on? Please tell me how to solve this. Is this really solvable? Oh, there's a door down here. I never noticed the door. The only way to stop it is to speak to someone that is honest. I'm bursting with creative energy. No, that isn't truthful. I am bursting. I have a feeling... Okay, let's try this again, I guess. I don't know. So let's find the most real, depressing answer we can find, and that's probably what he feels is the truth.
Right, let me explain how you're supposed to do this. On either side of the room are elevators, which go up to an upper level. You have to go up, walk over to the person who's standing there, and then select dialogue option number 2.
I just figured that out a little bit.
Like I said, I was getting concerned. First off, he's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So where's that coming from? But then even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing. Here was the point in my relationship with Koda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way. His games are going to get more desperate from here on out. After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
6 months indeed. Oh. Hello, where am I? Oh, nice tree though. Where did this island come from? Oh. Is that a person? How lovely. Who's saying this? It's been a long time since I talked to anyone. What's wrong? You look lost. I'm completely out of ideas. Well, we're jumping from little island to little island. Oh no! What happened? Did something change? There was a machine that kept me going and it stopped. Wait, you're looking for a machine? I know where it is. It isn't far. I need to see it. Know why it stopped. I can take you to it, but there's a problem.
Last game
It's
featured
guarded
Coda
by a
talking
difficult puzzle.
explicitly about
Oh,
his
it's gonna be that little door
frustrations.
puzzle, right?
This one turns it up to 11.
Deal?
Now, put yourself in my shoes playing
Deal.
this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for?
Here's the puzzle.
Because
Hey, I recognize
from
this.
my perspective at the time and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on.
I wonder what would have happened if we had done these in the wrong order. But I can't do that.
You can't talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever
There's
fails,
no machine
you have
here.
no backup and you're
I'm
just
the
going
machine.
to crash.
I don't know. You have to say that your work is fun and easy. You have to say that game development is simple and joyous. Making games easy. Liar! It feels wonderful. Game development is simple and joyous, so you love it 100% of the time. But it wasn't true. Don't worry about it. Just keep talking. Keep saying that creation is easy. It's easy. It never stops being easy. Yes, that's wonderful. Keep going.
Seeing this game at the time that he made it, it looked really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like, video games are not worth this amount of suffering. This is someone I really cared about. And I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing
What's
for
going
me.
on?
I don't know.
Why is there someone
This
crying?
is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. I had never felt so rotten. I needed more than
Well,
I had
that's why
ever
there's
needed
this
anything for this to stop.
Crying person.
But it didn't stop. After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
Game. It's only 6 months there, friend. The machine. This is what we were looking for. We're looking for the machine, remember? Guard. Ma'am, glad to see you arrived safely. We've captured the machine. It's waiting for you now. You can begin the interrogation wherever you like. I intend to be brutal. Very good. Just be warned, someone called the press, so we might have a bit of attention. And also, one more thing. It calls itself Coda. Oh my. No questions, no questions, no questions, no questions. Leave my client alone. No questions, no questions, no questions, no questions, no questions. No further questions. No. That's enough, that's enough. Give me some space. Oh my word.
And of course,
You
it's
stopped.
the machine.
You stopped feeding us? Those people out there, can you imagine? It's only because of your creations that any of us can make it through every day. I've been so alone. Apologize for leaving me. This is not really being brutal. I said it would be brutal. No. Nothing? Speak to me, machine. Alright then, I will apologize to the people on your behalf. I hear a door. Oh, well, let me tell you. My friends, my fellow Americans, I have a troubling revelation. The machine will not apologize to us. We will find a way to live without it. We do not need its games. Let us show that we are not failures. Follow me. We will destroy the machine. What? That's not where I was expecting to go. Oh. Interesting. Let's do an O L T. One last try. Put our little mark on this game. I think we're supposed to just do it all the way around.
So now the work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games. It might get him out of isolation.
Oh.
And so, as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for him? If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral? Would it give him confidence in himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work?
Just dressing the ceiling here. Oh, dear. I don't really know what we're doing here, other than being self-destructive.
So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took this one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all was just
now you know it's a lie.
Reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was nothing for him to be afraid of.
The machine. Coda. Put down your weapon. No. We'll do the opposite. We'll shoot
Can
you.
you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do? Because it's the thing that I always feel like I need, to be told that my work is good, that I am good. When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something... I really felt like I'd done something good, like I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem.
Maybe not.
They told me how much they enjoyed his games. It was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy. So beautifully, beautifully happy.
Something's gonna happen. Something's gonna happen.
So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while.
See, it's 2011, so there's not a lot of
June
games
of
left.
2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's. This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made. So let's take a look.
Let us take a look. June 2011. The Tower. Bum bum.
And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, the tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game.
Well, in fairness, most of his games are kind of cold, I would say.
This room actually has a maze in it.
It does?
Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise, so the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played, it actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all. But I do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
So we walk up to the spotlight, turn left. Turn to the spotlight, no. Forget that. I thought we could try to solve it without, but that would just take a long time. Maybe there are better markings on the floor or something.
And
Maybe there's no solution.
It's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end. But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze? The only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
15, 16, 17. Oops. 1. 15. Oh dear. There's a small input lag. There we go. Some weird noises in this room. Crunch. And jump down.
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges, and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem. But I can open this door for you, so let me do that. Was I a failure for not understanding this game?
There's a switch here.
I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why. I remember, it's June of 2011. I'm playing this for the very first time, and as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew.
This is significantly more depressing than the other games, but oh well.
I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them... I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean.
I was wondering about that. Coda. The pink light back there
I
was a
just
little
felt
bit
so strongly
out of
that
the
if I could have
ordinary.
connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all
Oh,
happy.
there's more.
It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me.
Where are we going?
But he stopped and left. And it felt somehow like
Left
I
or right?
had failed.
Left it is.
Where did I screw up?
Left or right? Dear Davy, thank you for your interest in my games. I need to ask you not to speak to me anymore.
I'm the reason that you stopped making games, aren't I? It's because of what I did.
What'd you do?
I poisoned it for you.
You did? How'd you do that, Davy? I wonder
I
at
don't think
times
I ever
whether you
told you
think I'm
this,
making these games for
But
you.
when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... it felt as though I were responsible for
You
something
so infected
important
my
and
personal space
valuable.
as possible. I did begin to plant solutions in my
And
work somewhere
the
hidden
people
between
who
my games.
played them, they treated me like I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, it was... I felt good about myself. Finally. For a moment, while I had that, I liked myself.
Who's that putting lampposts in?
And then you stopped. And I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all. Nothing. Less than nothing. What does that mean?
I realize that this doesn't make sense to you just yet, which is fine. You're not my problem to solve. But I do hope that one day it clicks and that you make peace with this thing you are wrestling.
I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like
And
myself.
when you finally see what I'm talking about, don't say anything. There's no switch on this side. I didn't think there would
That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work. Is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please. I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't
Game is moving, I'm not
stop
moving
myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. I want to know I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
But that took an interesting turn. Epilogue. Okay. What was real and what was not? Is this whole thing real?
Or more love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's
Mind
like
the
a
gap.
disease.
Don't know where to go now. Hope this guy doesn't jump on the track. Oh, door's open.
Solution. I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate. I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed. Maybe he just likes making prisons.
Maybe. You're a meddler, Davy. You're a meddler. You shouldn't meddle in other people's affairs.
Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you.
That doesn't seem like the solution. Sorry, I don't know. I don't know what I said.
If I knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be? It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like. What now?
What now is indeed, Davy.
I think I need to go. And I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for. And so I'm just gonna... Okay.
Certainly his mood took a turn. Where are we now? If you're at this point, you're saying, what's going on? I'm saying the same thing with you. Oh, it's rising. Door closed. The window closed at the top that we jumped in. Will the elevator stop when it gets to that window? I'm guessing yes. Yep. I was ready to be crushed by the ceiling there. We're back in Union Station. Got a lamppost at the back. I don't really get the lamppost. They never explain the 3 dots. What else? Sounds like it's gonna rain. Oh, this is that thing that you jump in to kill yourself, and it's gonna float us up into the sky, and we're gonna see something. Let's see what comes of that. And jump. Nope, it did not float us up. Oh, it did float us up. But we don't see anything. Oh, yes, we do see something. A maze. To remind us how small we were? Is that what he said before? It would suck being in that dead end right there. To walk all the way back. This is some field. So we started our little dot. Would have been cool as if there's something written in the maze, but I don't think there was.
Turn back.
So who's our coda?
Back from this cave. You said, let me prove that I'm brave. Let me keep going. But the cave goes for miles and miles and miles. And you're so tired, but I know that you're strong. So turn back, turn back.
So that is the end of Beginner's Guide. I guess at the end of our video session here, I'm supposed to tell you what I thought of this game and maybe explain it. I don't get it. Maybe you get it. If you get it, you can leave a comment down below. I don't get it. I mean, I guess my understanding is that, well, first of all, it feels like it's a tale of fiction. It's just a story, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is a window into the developer's mind. Maybe it really is a true story of this person he knew. I feel it's not. I feel perhaps it is an outlet for the person for some of their issues. But I just couldn't relate well enough to grasp this game, so it wasn't for me. That's okay. We don't have successes every week here on Sunday Night Shorts, but the thing is, what a success is for me and what a success is for you might be different things. So maybe you got something out of it that you liked. Maybe even if it's just one little thing, then I would call it a success. It didn't do anything for me, but I'm not ready to call it a failure. But I can just say it is not for me. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed our Sunday night short. I always call it Sunday night short. It's really just a Sunday short. I hope you enjoyed our Sunday short. And that does it for Griebs here on One Last Try. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a great day, everyone.